process of appeals, because we've noticed students only know about the appeal process and financial aid process when they have, when something wrong has happened and they have to learn from it. We have interviewed a few students and they kind of take it for granted and they don't really know the process exactly. So could you help us,
Sure. So I'm still someone new to college and I'm still learning the process here financially, but one thing that's always important is because we to remember is that the financial aid department is trying to go more paperless. So instead of sending out notifications to the student, we're always asking them to go and check the XMPC for any notifications. So after, let's say for instance, after you submit your application, your FAFSA, and then something else is missing, then you're going to get a notification through Inside BC saying, hey, we're missing certain paperwork, and come in, and can you verify, or you need to come in and fill out some paperwork. So it's always important for the students to check their notifications in Inside BC.
and it is true that financial aid can run out, correct?
Up to a certain amount depending on your grant. So say for instance, if your Pell amount is, let's say, $1,800 for the year, I'm not sure of the exact figure, it's going to be dispersed accordingly in the fall semester and in the spring semester, and then depending on the summer semester as well. So it's always good to be on top of the notifications that you're getting and any of the letters that you're receiving saying, so you can make sure that your money's being allocated.
What about the students who plan for majors and double majors or minors on UTED?
Now that's something that you would have to check with the educational advisors. So say for instance, if you want to change your major from communications over to accounting, you need to check with your educational advisor, and you maybe check with your counselor as well, because you want to make sure that the classes that you take for one major affects the other. And then sometimes when you transfer over to a different major, those classes won't apply. So it's important to stay on top of communicate with your advisor or the counselor.
And those advisors will help you with the financial aid process and doing that as well.
Yes, they're implementing a program called Pathways, which is going to be a little bit more transparent. So that way, you get better guidance as to what classes you need to take. So if, for instance, you're new to the program and you don't know what classes you need to take in for communications, they're going to help you to say, okay, these are the classes that you need, and once you transfer, these are the classes that you need to take, so you can transfer to whatever college you're going to be going to, or whatever four-year university you're going to transfer to.
Now, for the students that have gotten on probation, how do you alert them about that?
They do receive notifications as well. They either receive an email or a letter as giving them warnings. So we're staying on top of giving students all these types of information. That way they know they need to kind of take care of this thing before they come in. They bring they need to meet with if they need to meet with the advisors, in case of their own learning.
And
would you say that most of the students that get on probation or any other penalties on their financial aid they come in as knowing that's what it led to, or they come in like, okay, I didn't know, I had no idea?
Well, like we said, we're trying to go paperless, so all notifications are going to be, all that information is going to be given to the student, so that way we don't want the student to come in and say, well, I didn't know this, but it has to be out there, and it's something that we've been working on implementing, making sure that the students has all that information readily available, before they come into the office. So there have been occasions when the student has been on probation and then he won't come to school for 2 years. And say we've had students that have come back after 10 years, and either they forget or they're trying to get back into the whole process. And that's when we have to kind of start working with them again and say, well, you were warning before, you're going to kind of come back into that same status, and then going forward, that's the path we need to take.
so the pathways, is that provide counselors for people?
one of our educational advisors is going to be working with the students that are undeclared majors, so that way they kind of have a better idea as to what they want to do, what majors they want to go into. Like I said, I'm still new to the whole college, but it's going to be an overhaul as to how to help you get the classes that you want and that you need geared towards your education, towards your major. So whether you get an AA degree here from EC, or if you're going to move to another university, that way you don't lose those classes that you took. They don't get lost whenever you go to whatever university you're transferring to.
A lot of people we talk to that have gone through the whole process, probation and the appeals, they feel like the appeal process is incredibly lengthy, and they do understand that it is. We got to make sure it's done correctly and everything. But it almost seems like another headache on top of a much greater migraine. Is there anything you want to say to them, or possibly if they have someone that would help them go through it?
Well, and we always welcome, suggestions, comments. That way we can transfer, we can forward to the advisors or to the higher ups, or anybody in the admissions or the administration office. But we want to make sure we're also being compliant with the college and chancellor's office. And even though it's a little frustrating to go through a lot of these steps, it's important that we kind of have to follow the rules, so that way they're on track and we get them to where they want to go. We just want to make sure that a lot of students find out that whatever industry you go to or where you work, there's a lot of compliance that needs to be met. And that way it kind of also gives you that experience to comparison to whatever workforce you're going to. So all I'm saying is, I guess it's just be patient.
So the new program that you guys are coming on, sorry, what was that?
It's called Pathways.
Okay, so that new program, Pathways, is that like a better understanding of what penalties and regulations will happen if you don't meet the requirements of your grades or GPA? Is that more explanatory?
I would say think of Pathways as a program that's going to help you see a better way for you to get to where you want to go. If you want to find out more about it, I can send you guys some more information about it. You could probably talk to one of the educational advisors that have more experience. They would be able to better explain it. But it's simply a clear way for you guys to know what classes and what majors you would need to, or what classes you need to take in order for you to be more successful.
Okay.
I'm not sure if I asked this question. You may tell me if I did or not. That there are counselors that will help you through the appeal process and everything, correct?
Yes.
Okay, there are.
It's workshops, right?
Yeah, we have the process is that you have to take a workshop first, and then you get to meet with the advisor, so that way they can go over your specific case or your file in detail. That way you're up to date on exactly where you are and what you need to do.
And do you think that, say, if there was a mandatory workshop for freshmen or whatever, that they had to sit through there and understand how the financial aid work, do you think that would possibly help?
There aren't that many mandatory workshops for freshmen because again they're new at applying. The appeals usually mostly works for those who've been here for a long time and they've either kind of exceeded their financial aid for whatever reasons. But we are trying to see if we can have more workshops, what we call financial aid awareness to students of what's available to you. We have a lot of different resources. We also have scholarships that a lot of the population doesn't know about. So that's something that we're going to be working on this coming year. That way, when you're completing your FAFSA application, there's also scholarships available, and we'll be teaching how to complete the applications and the systems that we use. So mandatory workshops for freshmen there aren't any, but we're going to be giving a lot of information once the fall semester starts.
And what is the main way you give out information to the students?
We're going to be advertising through our website, on the financial aid page, and I mean, I think it's the third or I want to say the first week of October. Once you're first week of October, we're going to have a financial aid booth out there by the campus center. So if students who are on campus and they're walking by, they can come over and ask questions. We'll give them flyers. They can always feel free to stop by the counter, ask any questions. All of our student workers are very knowledgeable in different areas, and they can give them missing information as well. You can also call, and then one of the student workers or one of our techs will give you more details as far as what we're looking for.
Any more questions?
That's
I
it.
think we covered it.
Okay.
Lastly, what is your name?
My name is Walter. I'm the Dean Department Assistant.
Okay, Director, Assistant of
No, I'm the Department Assistant.
Department Assistant of Financial. I'm
Yes.
sorry.